Hi, I am John Ryan, and this is the Predictive Playbook slash Perspective Playbook, where we dig and mine for great betting ideas and, more importantly, bets that have a great chance of making you money. I'm proud to be here with my buddy and good friend Ira Silver, who can be found at Ira Silver Magic on Twitter. I encourage you, if you don't already follow him, follow him. He wouldn't be on our show if there wasn't a very very good reason for him to be on it. So Ira, welcome, and how's your week going?
Week's been good, a little hectic, but yeah, I'm really excited for tonight's slate. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, but not really from a betting perspective. I'm just gonna enjoy it, watch it, and have a good time with it. Maybe find a live opportunity, but from right now, in terms of the numbers, I'm not really seeing any value. And if I was, I probably wouldn't feel good about it. So I'm probably just gonna watch the first quarter, see the line of scrimmage, and then make a decision there.
And that brings home the point that I've been trying to drive home. It is the Super Bowl. It's exciting. It's like LeBron James playing Michael Jordan in his prime. But you got to be disciplined. You can't get crazy on one game. You and I look for opportunities 365 days a year in sports betting. And to me, it's really important that this you bet the Super Bowl just like you would bet a game tonight. It should have the same amount of meaning, and always, as the saying goes, bet with your head and not over it. And I can't recommend that any more than I already have. So
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
you want to take a look at some of the NBA tonight, I think, to start off. And let me bring up the chart here for that. We'll get the live odds here. And I'll switch to the screen. Yep. I assume you can see him, Ira?
I can.
Good, good. That means everybody else can too. So the crazy thing is, there's a okay. I see the count. I was just thinking I didn't see anybody in the chat room. But if you want to ask us questions, by all means, please do. Whether you're watching this through Periscope or YouTube, we are simulcasting this now, which is pretty exciting. We're getting up to speed, so we will continue Periscope up to March 31st. Just so you know. But let's get to the NBA here, Ira. I talked enough as always.
Yeah, no worries. So the first game up on the board is the Bulls Orlando Magic. You're seeing 61% of the tickets on the Bulls with 77% of the money. The line open -1. It's basically two and a half consensus right now. Um, you know, it's interesting. This is a game that I really like from a betting perspective, but it's really a game that I like from a live betting perspective more so than every other game on the board. Just because I think that these two teams there's going to be big runs from both sides. So I really think that it's more of a wait and see what happens. But if I had to make a lean here, and I hate to do it with 61% of the tickets on Chicago, but it'd probably be the Bulls on the money line at -130, -130, -135 right now. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for a better number in game with the Bulls. Hopefully, Orlando could take a little bit of a lead, and I'll come back with the Bulls at +3, +4, money line, and see if they can eke out a victory there.
Yeah, it looks like 130 there on the opening. I did see a couple -2.5s just pop up, which is why this is now saying 135. So I think from what I'm seeing, if you get 135, I think I would jump on it now if you like that idea, because at game time, it's probably going to be a little bit higher.
Oh,
But I like
absolutely.
I like your idea to wait and be patient and let the game volatility come to you. There's no reason in the world not to be able to get expect to get -110 on this game.
Yeah, no,
So
for
I like
sure.
that idea quite a bit.
Yeah, and then another game that's really interesting to me is the Indiana Pacers, New Orleans Pelicans. Now, you know, this Indiana team, they're -1 right now at home against this Pelicans team. And if you just think about it, the Pelicans, in my opinion, are not as good as the Pacers. So this line doesn't make too much sense to me. You want to go back to the betting flows, John? The betting flows page for me?
Yeah. What happened here?
You brought
Oh,
it to
it
the
changed.
money line.
Oh, okay.
I'd
I
be
don't know what
curious.
just happened here.
I'd be curious to see what the amount of tickets and money on this game is right now, because I do have a pretty strong opinion on this game. While you're trying to figure that
Oh,
out,
yeah.
um,
You can't see it right now.
I can only see the money lines. I cannot see the bet
Oh, oh,
percentage.
oh, oh. I misunderstood. I thought you couldn't see the whole thing.
There we go. Spreads. Perfect.
It's been a long week.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Where are the tickets and the money? They're not popping up. But anyways.
Let's refresh it.
All right. Well, I like the Pacers here at home minus the 1 point. Several reasons why. I just think that from the perspective of the money shots around the paint, defense, I think Indiana really holds a strong edge here in this one. And 61% of the bets are on Indiana, 75% of the money, which I'm not a big fan of. But this line is open to -4.5. It's down to -1. That's crazy. Am
I'll
I
say.
missing some injury news?
Well, I'm just thinking this through here. Um, it just seems to be wow. The part I don't get is that the Pacers have 61 and 75% of the money, but the line has gone down.
Yeah, it tells you
It,
that the sharp betters are on the Pelicans.
yeah, in a big way. But how can you have 75% of the money unless it was bet early and now the big bets are being made on that's what happened. The stats remember start when the line is open, they start counting. So the reason the line has gone down is because the big bets are coming in late here on the Pelicans. Um, and
Yeah,
there's nobody.
there is sharp money coming in on the Pelicans. I don't necessarily agree with it. So I'll probably wait as well in this game and take the Pacers at a better number. But if I'll probably put down 20% on the Pacers pregame and try to get a better number in game. It always bothers me when there's a lot of sharp action on one side and not like the other. So I'm probably going to be very cautious with this game for sure. Now that I'm seeing the betting flows, um, that's really it for that game. But let's move on to the another game, and that is the Utah Jazz traveling to play the Charlotte Hornets. Um, I'm not really sure why this line is so high. I think the market is finally overinflated this Utah Jazz team after they have been on a little bit of a roll here. I think it's a really good opportunity to buy back on Charlotte here at plus 8.5 at home. Any thoughts for you on that game, John?
Well, I have out of my repository of betting systems, which in the NBA is it's just a shade under 2,000 of them. There's one here that really sticks out, and I'll mention it just for information purposes. Unfortunately, it does support Utah. And this system has gone 41-18 with two pushes for 69.5% winning bets over the last 5 seasons. And you're going to play on away road favorites. That's coming off a game where they won by at least 20. I'm doing the reason I'm stuttering here is because I'm reading my code. It's not in English. So road favorites, you play on road favorites coming off a 20-point or more win, and facing an opponent that has scored 100 or more points in 3 consecutive games, and the opponent has allowed 100 or more in 3 consecutive games, and that's the system. So that is information. It's 49-12 straight up. Obviously, the money line would be rather rich, but to Ira's point, if you use the volatility of the game, it's not like Charlotte is a team that can't shoot the ball. Middle Tennessee State comes to mind. That is, I think for the season, they might be under 30%. And I say that with all due respect, but Charlotte can make runs. They have some young players, they're budding potential stars, and you just can't underestimate if you're the road team coming in to play them. So I have no doubt you'll have a chance to get some really good pricing on Utah if you want to go that route. And then conversely, if Utah gets out of the gate like they've been doing, then you'll have a chance to get on Charlotte at an even better price than where it is right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know. I like Charlotte quite a bit here in this situation tonight. And going back to that Indiana game, I mean, a good point from fellow odds in the chat room. But the Pacers got blown out by the Bucks in the last game, lost by 20 points. I think it's and Pelicans, beat the Bucks, this past week. They've been in close games. They just beat the Suns by 22. I think that this is a spot where it's a good move to back the Pacers. So I'm not really understanding the sharp movement here on the Pelicans.
There's one thing I'll mention here for the live betting. And this was asked in one of our shows, and I didn't see it asked. So I apologize for that. But did you ever wonder how many games where a team did not have a lead? In other words, our live betting volatility thing would not have worked. And it's 36 for the current season. And there's been several hundred games played now in the NBA.
Yeah, I was going to guess about 10 to 12%.
Yeah, I can tell you how many. And amazingly, there's 4 games where the team never had a lead and actually covered the spread. And I'll tell you what those were in a second. There's been 319 games. So you're right, about 10%, about 10 or 11%. Start to finish is led by one team. So the biggest lead of 0, the teams that have actually covered were the Pistons at home hosting the Bucks on January 13th were 9-point underdogs, and they never led, and they lost by 9. So that was plus 9.5. And then another one most recently was just a few days ago here, February 2nd. Again, the Pistons of all people again were 12.5-point road dogs to the Jazz, who we're talking about, and the Jazz led start to finish and won by 12, but the line was 12.5. So 2 times the Pistons never had a lead and covered by the hook.
Yep.
But it doesn't happen very often. But my thinking was that it had to be a prohibitive favorite, like a double-digit favorite is the type of team that can go start to finish with never giving the opponent a lead. But anyway, food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another interesting game. I'll end the NBA slate here, and we'll move on to a little bit of hockey potentially. Is the Sorry, I lost my place here. Okay, the last game of the night: Clippers minus 6.5 against the Boston Celtics. Boston on the road here, plus 6.5. I think Boston might be a good look here tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. Most definitely. I'm looking for a few of the trends that I saw earlier here in the database. One more second. Boston is 16-5 against the number when playing against a top-level team with a win percentage of 70% or better in games played the last 2 seasons. They are 36-22 when simply playing a team with a winning record the last 2 seasons. They are 16-3 facing teams that are outscoring their opponents. And outscoring opponents is a big parameter that has predictive power. So this is probably the best one of the 3. 16-3 against the spread. Opponents outscoring by their opponents by 6 or more points per game in games played the last 2 seasons. So yeah, I like this idea quite a bit.
Yeah, why don't we? You want to move on to hockey? You want to bring up the betting flow page for hockey?
Sure, we can definitely do that.
Great.
So for the show purposes, what are What are the best bets then in the NBA?
I think that the best bets. Let me pull up that page because I already moved over to hockey real quick. I think the best bets probably be Bulls money line. I think I would lay -130, -135 potentially if you
Okay.
wanted to get a little bit before that game. The next best bet would probably be the Pacers minus the point. I think that's a good one, and I will bite on the Celtics +6.5.
Yep, I like the Celtics as my number one pick, but I like all three of those. So that we're
Oh,
in
and the
agreement.
Hornets.
We're in
Let's
sync.
not forget the Hornets. Let's not forget the Hornets. I like that.
Okay, I'm on board with that. Yep.
All right, let's move over to hockey. We got some interesting matchups tonight. We got the Bruins Flyers. Bruins -130. Um, I don't know how you don't back the Bruins here. You're gonna have Tuukka Rask in goal for the Bruins, and you're gonna have Brian Elliott in goal for the Flyers, who is a 2.22 goals against, 93% save percentage. And Tuukka Rask, his stats this season 2.57, 88%. So not so great from Tuukka this year. They're going to be on the road. They're a short road favorite tonight. I'd either look at Boston -130 or over 5.5 goals. I think there's definitely going to be some goals in this one. So those are a couple looks there in tonight's game. Another game that I like, and after a big shootout last night with the Predators Panthers, I like over the total again in this one, over 6 -105. You got Dreiger projected in net for the Predators. And just to pull up Chris Dreiger's stats real quick, he's having a pretty solid season. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably lean the over. Hard not to with the pace that these teams play at. And then you got a couple more games. You got the San Jose Sharks against the Ducks. Sharks will be starting Jones, Gibson for the Ducks. Probably going to have to go with the Anaheim Ducks tonight. The Sharks team's pretty bad. You never know what Martin Jones you're going to get, but you always know what Gibson you're going to get. And Gibson has been a absolute stud this season. I love him. He's been let down by a couple of his teammates this season from the defensive side of the rink. And then Martin Jones, he's got almost a four goals against average this year, and you never know what Jonesy you're going to get. So for all those reasons, I'm going to be with Anaheim tonight. And you can see there 67% of the tickets are on San Jose, but 93% of the money is on Anaheim. So I like Anaheim quite a bit. And then just looking at the numbers there, you got 66% of the tickets on the over, 77% of the money on the over. So I don't love that. Maybe that would be a fade for me looking at that now. I skipped over the Red Wings Lightning game. That's an interesting one.
It sure is.
Lightning -330. If you wanted to take a stab with the Red Wings at +265, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah, you see the on the board. I see Red Wings there at Westgate +300.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset about the
Yeah.
Detroit Red Wings if you wanted to take them tonight.
Well, I know I probably have some really awesome dog playing systems that hopefully support Detroit here. I do. I have quite a few of them. Here's one that has hit 54% winners. Didn't sound so good, but the $100 bettor has made over $7,500 in the last 5 seasons playing this little gem. And I'll tell you, if you ever, I recognize this system now. If you're ever going to write one down, this would be the time to do it. This thing has gone 349 against 302 losses. Again, 5 seasons, so it's very active. And you are going to play. You're going to play on any team using the money line coming off a blowout loss of 3 or more goals in their previous game and facing an opponent after scoring 3 or more goals in 2 consecutive games. I mean, it doesn't get too much easier than that. Wow.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite play of the night is Detroit.
Yeah, and this is the key. I mean, the NHL and Major League Baseball being money line sports, it's imperative that you play money line dogs the majority of the time. I know in baseball, my plays will average 80% and higher on dogs. If you play the favorite, for example, you play this favorite tonight and Detroit pulls it off, how many games do you have to win in a row then to just make a profit? The answer is obvious. It's four.
4, yeah.
And if you're just starting out betting, believe me, it's hard to win 4 games in a row. It may appear somewhat easy once in a while, but it's very difficult to do that. And then if you play favorites again and you don't go 4-0, then that's when the hole begins to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And we don't want anybody to go down a a bad rabbit hole. It's just not worth it.
No,
Uh,
I agree quite a bit.
And then the other thing I was thinking here, Ira, and I love money line parlays. It's the only time I like saying parlay without cringing because I really inherently don't like them unless it's two dogs. So, of your picks, is there another dog we can tie in with Detroit? Because then we're talking some serious change on like a $50 bet.
Yeah, I don't mind the Charlotte Hornets and I don't mind the Celtics.
That's right. We can go cross sport. I have a question for you in the Boston Philadelphia game. Both teams have
Boston Clippers.
similar records. So why is Philly a dog at home?
Oh, it's just the style of play. Boston's more. They have a lot more. But they just have better matchups in terms of like defense, and they're not like all over the place. Philly's a little bit of. They're a little sloppy with the puck sometimes. So Boston's just more of a polished team. They've been, a good core for quite a bit. And Brian Elliott's going to be in goal for the Flyers, and it's not their best goalie per se. So I do like the Bruins. So I probably wouldn't money line. I wouldn't include the Flyers in this one. I mean, they can win for sure, but if you wanted a juicy dog, I think it would be the Celtics, the Hornets, and the Red Wings tonight in a parlay.
And I'll tell you what, even adding Boston to that, I would like too, because I think that line, based on what you just said, and I asked you because I really don't know hockey like I know the other sports, so I'm learning. But seeing the money flows in that game and the fact that Boston is favored tells you that Boston is a vastly superior team,
Yep.
and you are definitely getting them at a cheap price. So personally, for me, of all the picks we talked about, that Boston just straight up at minus 130 really has my attention. And then, of course, I can't help myself with Detroit. I just inherently love that.
I'm gonna put together a little pizza parlay here. I'm gonna go Pacers minus 120, Hornets plus 265, Celtics plus 185, Boston Bruins minus 130, and the Detroit Red Wings plus 270. What I'm seeing, $50 to return $6,107.
That's awesome, man. Yep. That's when you go for it. You don't go for it by putting 5,000 on the Bucks in the Super Bowl. You go
Nope.
for it doing this, and you'll make if this hits over time. It doesn't matter if it hits tonight, but Ira is very good at these. He has sent me tickets for the better part of a year, and it sometimes stuns me at how often he hits them. He hits them, more often than I do, for sure. But even if you hit them 8% of the time over the course of 365 days, you're going to be better off doing that than betting $5 grand on the Super Bowl. And that's
Oh,
what I'm trying to encourage everybody not to do.
yeah, you gotta manage your bankroll especially for the Super Bowl. Don't get nuts with it. It's just one game in a, somewhat very long weekend. We have a big betting slate tonight, tomorrow, and then obviously the Super Bowl on Sunday. So don't get wild with the Super Bowl. Keep doing your thing. Keep playing bankroll management. Keep being smart. But yeah, I'm gonna go with it. 5-team parlay. Let's do it. A little 5-team
And,
action. Pacers, once again, Pacers, Hornets, Celtics, Bruins, and the Red Wings.
and I'll encourage you to do a retweet on the show on Twitter and just put that parlay in there for the ones that aren't in the live show that may be viewing it on the archive, so that you have it out there, just for the purposes of transparency. If it hits, that's great. But we have had, I believe, now 14 shows, and we've made money on 12. And one day was a one-on-one, which I did as a solo show, and that's not much of a loss. So we've been doing really, really well here with the picks on the live show, which makes me very pleased, makes Ira very pleased, and I think our chat room likes to win more than they like to lose.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about that.
So I know you'll be watching the Super Bowl. I just can't wait. The matchup is huge. But very briefly, because I know you have to get going as well. Um, I just think the wrong team's favored. I honest to God think the wrong team is favored again, and this would be the third time in a row that I've bet on the Bucks. I'm not saying that's my official play, but I think that the media draws your attention to the offenses where the biggest advantage is on the defensive end with Tampa Bay. And I think they are going to bring a load because in the first game, they only blitzed 17% of the plays. Over the regular season, they were one of the highest blitzed defenses in the league at 32%. They got back, the name escapes me right now. I'm more of an analytics guy, but the key guy in the defensive line is back. He did not play in that game. And there's other members of the starting lineup that did not play in that regular season game. And I just know if I had a prop bet to bet that they would blitz more than 30% of the plays, I would take it in a heartbeat on the over. They may bring the load, like 50% of the plays, because that is truly how you beat a quarterback like Mahomes with the mobility and the arm strength that he has. You certainly don't do it by trying to play zone or a quarters defense or cover zero. It doesn't work. I really believe they're going to be very, very aggressive. And if there was a prop bet that Mahomes gets sacked more than Brady, I would take that too in a heartbeat. But that's my initial thoughts here. I believe over the weekend I'll be doing. I'll definitely be doing the halftime update. Um, Ira will be lucky enough to be watching the Super Bowl at an area that has limited internet capabilities, and we want him to have a good time and get rested for the conference tournaments coming up in the NBA second half. I mean, it's just going to be awesome from here on out.
Yeah, I
So
can't.
what I can really say.
I can't wait. A little rest and relaxation. Some betting to be had, and just have a good time.
I mean, we have to feel sorry for Ira. I mean, he lives in Miami, where it's chilly. He told me that the other week. It was chilly, and what was it, 65? And now
It
he's
was
going to a place that's even better. So I hope you packed a sweater,
it was
just in
60
case, right?
60 degrees. It was like 59, 60 degrees. I was a little cold here in Miami, so I decided to book out of town for the Super Bowl. It's warm now. It's in the 70s now, but let's just say I won't have a lot of internet capabilities this weekend, and there'll be a lot of drinks flowing and a lot of screaming at the television during the game.
That's awesome. Have a great weekend, Ira. You want to take us out of here?
Absolutely. As always, Predictive Playbook. John Ryan's the man, the myth, and the legend. If you're not subscribing to this guy, you're just not living life and you're just not doing it right, because this guy's going to make you a ton of money. I'm happy to be by his side for these shows. And we become basically best of friends at this point. So, John, I'm looking forward to a big, big second half of the NBA season. I'm looking forward to football being done with so we can just focus and get going and grind and make a lot of money. So For Irish Silver, and I'm at Irish Silver Magic. John's at John Ryan Sports 1. We will see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.